This is Deb Tim, a Canadian girl, and today I want to share my knowledge on what I know about the 4 most common fish diseases. So please stay tuned. Even when we keep our tanks in pristine condition with excellent water parameters, careful not to overfeed and sticking to a regimented maintenance schedule, we will still face sickness and even fish loss at some point in our journey as an aquarist. Do not lose heart, as we can prepare ourselves with knowledge in how to prevent, recognize, and treat illness that we may face. Some common symptoms you may see are heavy breathing, clamped fins, lethargy, flashing, hiding in corners, and no appetite. These symptoms are precursors to many diseases, so it's almost impossible to pinpoint what the cause could be. I am a firm believer in isolating a sick fish for a few reasons. I don't want to run the risk of this sickness spreading, and if treatment is called for, I will treat the fish in the isolation tank alone rather than treat the healthy fish for the sake of one. The third is probably the most important, allowing your fish to heal in peace without harassment from other fish causing more stress. This, in my opinion, will speed up the healing process. Let's go over a few common diseases and their symptoms. Swim bladder disease. The swim bladder is just that, a sac or bladder of air that helps keep the fish buoyant. When a fish has a swim bladder problem, it will have difficulty swimming or controlling its movements through the water, even to the point of looking like it's paralyzed. Often this is accompanied with heavy breathing due to the stress of just trying to swim. Swim bladder issues can result from an injury like jumping from the tank and hitting the floor, but more common than that are nutritional problems, poor diet, and constipation. The first thing I recommend is to isolate your fish. Next, we will up the salt content as much as doubling the dose. This will help with buoyancy, ease their breathing, and improve their digestion. You can also raise the temperature a couple of degrees. Don't feed your fish for the first 3 days. Then on the 4th day, try them on a few shelled peas. It may take a day or two for them to accept them. Once they do, you can soak a few pellets in salt water and try them on that. Providing this sickness has been caught in time, it can be successfully cured, but it does take time, 3 to 6 weeks minimum. Feeding your fish regular supplements of high-fiber foods, such as shelled peas and spinach, can help to relieve constipation. Including these in your diet is a form of prevention. Malawi Bloat. This is a common disease among African cichlids. The symptoms include distended bellies, labored breathing, little to no appetite, white stringy feces, hiding in corners, and lethargy. Unfortunately, this disease is often fatal once these symptoms have manifested themselves. Malawi bloat is caused by too much high protein in their diet, poor water quality causing stress, which in turn lowers their immune function, which allows the protozoans in their intestinal tract to multiply. The protozoans are microorganisms that live within the intestinal tract. Once they begin to multiply, they can cause a blockage. In treating Malawi bloat, the first step is to do a large water change. Remove the affected fish to an isolation tank. Now, there are many medications for this disease, so I won't highlight any one in particular, but I do recommend to double or triple the dose. As I said, this disease is often fatal, so an aggressive treatment is necessary to combat this illness. You will see improvement within a week or so if it's going to be successful. It may take longer, so continue the treatment until the fish is either better or dies. I personally haven't had success with treating Malawi Bloat. I have had 2 fish affected and both have died. Ick or white spot. This is probably the most common of the 3 diseases I've mentioned so far. Ick is quite easy to identify as it looks like someone has salted your fish. You will see small white bumps on your fish from head to toe, fins included. These are the physical signs you will see. Before the spots appear, there are some indicators that may suggest an ick problem is on the rise. Pre-warning symptoms of this disease again include clamped fins, lethargy, heavy breathing, flashing, or rubbing themselves on substrate and rocks and other surfaces within the tank, and loss of appetite. The problem with these symptoms are they are a common indicator to so many other diseases it's almost impossible to guess at this point. Ick has a life cycle beginning with the feeding stage. At this point, you cannot see any spots. It feeds on a nodule formed in the skin or gill. After it feeds, it falls off and settles on plants, rocks, and other surfaces within the tank. It enters an encapsulated dividing stage. It can divide up to 10 times. It's at this point that it attacks your fish. This is a repetitive cycle that lasts 7 days from beginning to end. A 10-day treatment is recommended for successful treatment and annihilation of this disease. This is my primary reason to remove and isolate any fish I suspect of being sick. If it's caught in time, you can avoid spreading it through your entire tank. Once the physical signs appear, you will need to treat the entire tank, as that is when it becomes contagious. Even after removing the sick fish, in this case, it's best to treat the tank to avoid an outbreak on the rest of your fish. Ick will need a 10-day period for it to die off completely. The first thing you want to do is double the salt content. Next, you must raise your temperature over a course of 5 days, increasing gradually until you reach the temperature of 90 degrees. It cannot survive in high temperatures or high salt content. Once you have reached 90 degrees, you begin to bring the temperature back down in the same way. This will be a total of 10 days. There are medications that can treat ick, but in my experience, I have found high temperatures and increased salt does the trick. The only prevention for this disease is quarantining your new fish, as that is how it will enter your aquarium. The fourth and final disease I'm going to talk about is pop-eye, and I don't mean the sailor man. This is when one or both eyes appear to be bulging out. The cause of this is simply a bacterial infection. Usually the bacteria have an opportunity to enter the eye following an injury. Possibly swimming into a rock and scratching the eye is all it takes. The best remedy is to simply do frequent water changes for a few days and feed vitamin-enriched foods. There are medications that can be used, but I've never had to medicate my fish for this disease. Good clean water is one of the best ways to keep your fish healthy and improve any sickness you may see. These are the 4 most common ailments, although there are many more. I strongly suggest you do a little research and equip yourself with knowledge so you are prepared.
Until next time, this is Deb Town signing out. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're having a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.